Assalamu alaikum all, welcome back to my channel. I pray that you are all in the best of health and iman. If you are new, welcome. My name is Nafisa. I am a Muslimah life coach and I support Muslim women with relationship and mental health issues. So if you're interested in being coached in those areas, you can find me over on my website, which I will leave linked in the description box down below. You can also find me on Patreon, where I teach all women, not just Muslim women, all women, the act of womanhood, being feminine, and also the act of preparing to be a wife. How to be a wife before you actually get the ring. And I also help women who are looking to build happier marriages over on Patreon. So if any of those sound interesting to you, definitely check me over on Patreon. So my darlings, today's video we are talking about the signs that you are in a committed relationship. It's very important for you and I as women to also focus on building better relationships, which is why I developed my Patreon to really teach women how to be healthy themselves and how to contribute towards a healthy marriage, a healthy home, a healthy single life, just a healthy, healed mindset. Right? And so I thought bringing this video would be very helpful for those of you who want to see, am I in a healthy relationship? There's a lot of bad stuff going around at the moment, but am I in a healthy relationship? And so on that note, I want to remind both myself and you to always remember to pray for others. It's a very important thing that we should learn to do as Muslims, and even just people who believe in God in generally, to pray for others. We can't change people. We can't make people commit in the way that we want them to commit. We can't make people as religious as we want for them to be. We can desire it for them. We can encourage them. We can verbalize it, but we can't force it. We have no power over anybody else's heart or over anybody else's actions. But one thing that we can do is pray for others. This is something that I want to really start incorporating into my life because I think it's a forgotten sunnah. It's a sunnah that I don't do enough of and I think I should do more of. And so I'm putting myself out there and saying this is what I need to work more on. And I would like you guys to join me on this journey of learning to just incorporate more people into our dua making. Everybody has problems and it's like sometimes you pray, and after you pray, all you can think about are all of your issues and you're just taking them to Allah. You're like, Allah help me, Allah help me, Allah help me. And we forget that there are also other people all over the world who are going through issues as well, who are going through things that's really heavy on their heart too, and they need help too. Remember, my brothers and sisters in Islam, whenever we pray for a person, the angels say Ameen, and the same for you. So it's a reminder for myself as well as for you to try our best to make dua for others. Where we cannot change others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has complete control over their hearts and He alone can change their hearts. So please remember, pray for your brothers and sisters in Islam. Pray for those who are in need. Pray for those who are in difficulty. So now, the signs that you are in a committed relationship. Sign number 1, you know how to support one another. It's difficult to know how to serve a person if you don't know that person very well. So I would say before even knowing how to serve this person, it's just taking the time, making it your issue to learn to understand and get to know this person so that you can know how to serve this person. Relationships are all about service. It's about doing something for somebody else that would make them happy, would make them comfortable. But also that in turn makes you happy and makes you feel comfortable. And as long as two people are in a marriage or in a relationship where they are doing the two for each other, it will feel very rewarding. Relationships that are often very unbalanced, very toxic, is where one person is doing all of the work and the other person is just taking advantage and putting in nothing. Brothers and sisters, I am telling you, a sign that you are in a healthy, committed relationship is if your partner knows how to serve you and you know how to serve that other person. And it all begins with asking, how can I serve you better? How can I be there for you better? Is there anything I can do to be of service or to be of help? And sometimes it's also listening. Because sometimes our partners tell us all the time what they need, but we don't listen. We don't listen. They say, this is what I need, this, I need this, I need, and it's just like it goes in one ear and out the other. In a committed relationship, the two people actually care for one another. And because they actually care, they listen and they try to implement. No one is perfect. Nobody can get it right 100% of the time. But if you have a partner that is 70%, 80%, 90% committed, sis, this is golden. This is golden, because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. And so even if you're in a relationship that's feeling like my partner is less committed, 50% committed, 60% committed, 40% committed, maybe it's a conversation to have with them. They may be very open to learning how else they can be of service to you. On top of that, how can you be of service to them? And I want my ladies particularly to listen very carefully. These days and age, we have a lot of conversation over what the man is supposed to be doing for the woman, about how the man is supposed to be giving, and about how the woman is supposed to be receiving. But there's a very important lesson here, that as a woman, you also do give. You just give differently. And we will explore this topic more over on Patreon for my sisters who are with me on Patreon, learning how to be a feminine woman, learning how to be feminine wives, learning how to prepare for marriage. We'll discuss this more. But it's important that you also learn to understand that you're also going to have to service the person that you're in a relationship with so that they too feel okay. So it's not just I take and I give nothing and I just expect to keep taking. No relationship is going to thrive when one person is only taking and they are not willing to give anything. So a sign of a committed and great relationship is that both of you are contributing and are servicing each other. The next sign that you are in a healthy and committed relationship is that you both talk about expectations and hopes for the future. If a man is avoiding having this conversation about the future with you, and there is no speaking about expectations for the future, what is to come, then it's a sign that this person doesn't see you as part of their future. And if a man is watching this, it's the same thing. If you keep speaking to this lady and you keep bringing up things about the future and she just shuts the conversation down as soon as you begin to mention or make future plans, then that is a sign that she may not be ready to commit to you, or she just may not be committed to you at all. You may not be the one for her in her mind yet. And so it means that if you're speaking to someone and they're open about making plans for the future, they're open about, setting up certain expectations and things like that about the future of this relationship, about the future of you two together, then you are committed to one another, right? So that can be a great sign of a committed relationship, is making and also explaining, like verbalizing future plans and future expectations for this relationship together is a sign that this could be a committed relationship that you're in, and you should be very happy about that, okay? If this is the person you want to be with, these are all great signs. The next sign that you are in a committed relationship is that you both put in the effort. This goes back to what I said earlier on about learning how to support and be of service for one another. When both people are committed to making the effort, putting in the work that is necessary for this relationship to grow, whether that means putting in the time, having time for one another, having time to talk, having time to meet up. For the Muslims in a halal environment, considering that person, considering their needs and making it a priority in your life. When the both of you put in effort into that relationship, it's a sign that this is a committed relationship, because both people are willing to make it work. When I coach couples, especially, one of the first few questions I ask them is, do you want this to work? And do you want this to work? And I tell the both of them, give me your honest answer, and we begin from there. Because when we have a relationship, when one person is more committed than the other, that relationship isn't usually as strong as it can be. Then you begin to have a relationship that is on a rocky table, I like to call it. This relationship is sitting on a rocky table and there is no stability because there isn't, a fair amount of effort coming from both people. Now, I'm not saying that for it to be equal means 50% from that person, 50% from the other person, and it will remain like that all of the time. For example, if you're watching this relationship and you're married, you might notice that one stage of your marriage life, maybe your husband was more, he was putting in more of the effort, and now maybe you're putting in more of the effort, and it might flip again a little bit to where maybe one person, but for the most part, it's not like a 30-70, it's not like a 20-80. It's sitting around the sometimes 50 something, sometimes 60 something, 40 something. It's sitting around that part where even though it shifts slightly, there is still a nice balance in between where one partner can look at the other person and say, yeah, I can see that they're trying. I can see that they want to commit to this relationship. So effort. Some people like to think that relationships just develop. They're just supposed to just stay good. Like, we entered this, we wanted it, we were happy. It's just going to remain like that. We're just going to stay the same forever. It's one of the biggest lies that people have been taught about relationships, is that they're going to sort themselves out. Relationships don't sort themselves out. You have two people who come into a relationship willing to do what it will take for that relationship to thrive. And this is essentially what I'm talking about when I talk about effort. As long as you're willing to do what it's going to take for that relationship to thrive, most likely your relationship will survive. I'm talking about both partners here. If both of them are willing, then most likely that relationship will survive. Again, it becomes rocky when that one person is not as interested and the other person is. This is where some help is needed. And if you have a relationship where you're feeling like one person is not as committed, get help ASAP, please. Don't think I'm just going to woo them into it, because there's probably deeper underlying issues and reasons why they are not as committed. And as soon as you get to the bottom line and fix that issue, the better for you. Okay? So effort from both partners is a sign of a committed relationship. And if you have that, cherish it, my dear. Cherish it. Thank your husband. Thank your wife for the effort that they put into this marriage to make it work, because it is golden to have a marriage, a relationship where both people are equally committed to making it work. Finally, you can know that you are in a committed relationship if your partner regularly checks in with you in terms of how you are feeling about this relationship, seeking a way to improve the relationship. This is really a sign of someone who has a high amount of emotional maturity, which I've spoken about on my Patreon. And for a person who checks in with their partners and say, maybe we've been together a year, or we've been together the last 2 years, we've been together the last 10 years. What has worked for you in this relationship? What isn't working for you? Are you happy with how the both of us are right now? And they're checking, and it's coming from a place of wanting to see if there are any things you're not happy with, so that they can do their part. Also, the both of you together can find solutions. That is a sign that that person is extremely committed, and a relationship where you have both partners regularly checking in on one another in terms of how they're feeling about this relationship and where it's going. When you have that, it's an incredible sign that that person is committed to that relationship, because no one's going to do that unless they really care about the relationship and they care about the health of that relationship and making sure that it remains stable. And again, it takes a high level of maturity to be able to even notice that this is something that can be done to help to improve your relationship and move it forward. So if you have that and your partner checks in on you regularly, how you're doing, how you're feeling about this relationship, where it's going, the dynamics of things, maybe you've had children, maybe things have changed along the years, and they're regularly checking in with you and where you are in the stage of the relationship, it is an incredible sign that there is a committed person is involved in this relationship. A committed relationship is essentially one that is intentional and one that takes work. It doesn't just happen on its own. We say that and we understand that, But a lot of the time, we still just let our relationships go without any learning, without any effort. We're just hoping that this love thing is just gonna hang around forever. And then sometimes we sit there 5 years, 10 years into the marriage and we're like, what happened? We're living like brothers and sisters. And that's at his best. What is this? This is not the marriage that I entered into. This isn't the man that I married. If you want commitment, you want your marriage to succeed, it's a team effort. It's teamwork. And I make videos for women especially, warning them about signs of things that may not work out the way they expect, about people that they should try to avoid. Because really my intention is to get these women to choose rightly in the first place so that they can avoid the trauma later on. And then with help that I'm giving sisters over on Patreon and access to things like that, teaching them how to remain married and teaching them how to have self-confidence even as single women and be happy in their womanhood and confident in their womanhood. I don't blame all of us for not having known certain things at certain points of life. We're just not usually taught these things. But alhamdulillah, I must say, for social media, because it can be used as a good tool to learn how to improve your relationships. So I really hope this video has been of some benefit to you. If it has, please don't forget to share it with other brothers and sisters who may benefit from the content of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up and remember to comment down below. It really helps to get the video out there. It helps the algorithm to push the video out so that it gets more views essentially and more people get exposed to the information in the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will speak to you soon. By the way, do not forget to watch this video that I made not that long ago. If you haven't watched that video, hop on over there and I will speak to you over there, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.